Hello friends, my name is Parag Desle and I welcome you all in this lecture series on fluid mechanics. So in fluid mechanics we were discussing from last 3 lectures, that is internal flow. In internal flow we have seen that there are three cases actually we are going to study under this course, and that cases are, as you can see on the board I have written. The first case we have seen in the second lecture, that is pipe flow problem. If there is a flow through a pipe, what will be the velocity distribution? This is the expression for that. What will be the shear stress distribution? This is the expression for that. And what is the pressure drop or the frictional pressure drop along that pipe? The second type of geometry where the flow is there in between two parallel fixed plates. There are two plates which are parallel to each other and which are fixed. So if such a kind of laminar flow is flowing between these two plates, what will be the velocity distribution, what is the shear stress distribution, and what is the frictional pressure drop? This all content we have seen in the previous lectures. If you have not seen them, you can go to my channel and you can watch them. Okay, so for the students also, with respect to numericals, it is mandatory to remember these formulas. So I suggest that you should prepare a sheet like this where all the formulas will be on the comparative basis, and then we can learn them. Yes, I have not mentioned here maximum velocity, like average velocity, ratio of them, so you can compare that also. So you can add the rows where you can add maximum velocity, average velocity, ratio of maximum velocity to average velocity, wall shear stress. That formulation is also required for the numericals, so you can add it on a sheet and learn them on comparative basis, so that will be easy for you to remember them for the numerical treatment. Now today's content is third case, that is Couette flow. As I have earlierly described this, what is Couette flow? It is same as flow between the plates. Only difference is that here both plates are fixed. Here one plate is fixed and one plate is moving. So in Couette flow, one plate will be fixed, lower plate, let's say lower plate is fixed and upper plate will be in the motion. And if flow takes place in between these two plates, that kind of flow is particularly named as Couette flow. So today's content is to discuss the velocity distribution expression for Couette flow and shear stress distribution expression. So let us move towards it. So in Couette flow, the upper plate will be moving with certain velocity. Let us say that velocity is v. So if I give the heading, that is Couette flow. This is very special case. In heat transfer, this has very much significance, because in heat transfer such cases are there where there is upper plate is moving and cooling fluid flows between that plate. Then what should be the analysis of velocity, that we will learn here. So that will be used consecutively in the next lectures of, or in the next subject of heat transfer. So let us say this is the upper plate which is having certain velocity, predefined velocity v, which is already in motion, and the lower plate, as it was in the previous case, both plates are parallel to each other and the lower plate is fixed. If the lower plate is fixed and if my x-axis is here, now u is 0. Where is the location of u is 0? When y is 0. If x-axis here itself is the x-axis, that means equation of x-axis is y equal to 0. Means y equal to 0, u equal to 0. The no slip condition, we call this as no slip condition. That is at lower surface. So on the lower surface, the velocity of the fluid particles will be 0. Now flow is going to enter in between these two plates. Now the difference is that upper plate is now in motion. In previous case the upper plate was also fixed. That is why symmetry was there. Now here the symmetry will not be there, because the lower plate is fixed and upper plate is already in motion. So let us see how it will happen. So for that purpose, we can recall that there is a relation between the pressure gradient, that is dP by dx. Is the pressure gradient means what? Variation of pressure along x. Between two sections, how much is the pressure difference, that is dP with respect to dx. That is called as pressure gradient, which is equal to shear stress gradient, d tau by dy. Shear stress varies along this axis and pressure varies along this axis. So variation of pressure with respect to x, that is dP by dx, pressure gradient, and variation of shear stress with respect to y, that is d tau by dy, shear stress gradient. And this equality expression we have derived in the previous lectures. You may recall them. In the case of flat fixed plates, we have derived this expression. So I can connect here. We'll start with this expression, that is dP by dx is d tau by dy. Variation of shear stress along y equal to variation of pressure along x. So these are equal. We have derived this already. You can go for the previous lectures to understand this. Now I can start with Newton's law of viscosity, where there is the expression for shear stress. Newton's law of viscosity. It gives us the relation for shear stress. And what is that? It is mu du by dy, that is velocity gradient. This is what? Velocity gradient. Velocity is varying along y, so u is varying along y. So what is the variation of u with respect to y? That is du by dy. So we know that the shear stress is directly proportional to this variation. If this variation is 0, shear stress will be 0. If variation is highest, shear stress will be highest. This variation is highest at the surface. Du by dy is the highest at the surface. That is why wall shear stress is the maximum value. Now what we'll do, we'll put this tau, expression of this tau in this equation. If I put here, the tau can be replaced by this expression. So this dP by dx can be continued. So dP by dx equal to d dy of, because I am continuing this expression, so d dy of shear stress. And what is the expression for shear stress? Mu into du by dy. So it is mu into du by dy. So you got that? Now what is it? This is what now? If you see, I can simplify this. The mu is constant, so I can take it out common. So mu in bracket du square by dy square, d square u by dy square. We have done same process in the previous expression also. You may recall it. I can rub this now. So now I have got this expression as dP by dx equal to d square u by dy square. What is our objective? Our objective is to get expression for velocity. Yes, expression for u. So if I want to get the expression for u, so I will have to separate out this. So how to separate out this? Removing this d square by dy square. So how to remove this? This is derivation. So we have to take integration. If this is second degree derivation, so we have to take integration twice. We will take integration twice. So I will take first integration. I can rearrange this. I will write down this term here and I will write down this term to other side. It will not make no difference. So that is nothing but du square upon dy square, d square u by dy square equal to dP by dx. So this is your pressure gradient. Now I am going to integrate this. If I integrate this, we don't know limits, so this will be indefinite integral. And for indefinite integral, constant of integration comes into picture. So if I integrate this, it will become du by dy. I can write down here integrating. So it becomes du by dy equal to, this is constant, so here y will be there because we are integrating with respect to y, so it will become dP by dx. I think we are missing something. The mu was there, here it was mu. This one. So here 1 by mu will be there. If you recall, go back and you can see that there was mu. So it is mu dP by dx. Am I right? Now we'll multiply with this with y because integration of this constant is y. And now we'll have to insert one more constant of integration. Let's say C1. I am numbering this as 1 because we have taken first integration. When we'll take second integration, we'll get again one more constant. So if I integrate again, I have done the same process in the previous expression also. integrating again. I could have skipped this, but I am repeating it. So this will be now naked u. D dy will be gone now because we are integrating again. So it will become u. Integration of y is y square by 2 because this is constant. So I will write down that constant as it is. dp by dx, sorry. Then this is y square by 2. Integration of y is what? Y square by 2 plus c1 is constant. So integration is y plus c2. So this is what the expression for velocity, but this is incomplete because we don't know the values of the constant c1 and c2. We have done the same process in the previous expression. Up to this we were ready. We could have started this derivation from this expression also, but I have repeated it. Okay, now I will start this expression finding out the c1 and c2. So if I want to find out c1 and c2, I will have to use the boundary conditions, and as we know that the first known boundary condition is what? At y equal to 0, u becomes 0. So if I use this boundary condition, what will happen? Y is 0, so this term will be 0. Y is 0, so this total term will be 0. And u is 0, so this total term is 0. Means what? C2 becomes 0. So this boundary condition gives me C2 equal to 0. So if C2 is 0, here if I put the C2 0, so these are only two terms in the expression. So if I repeat here now, so expression for u will become minus 1 upon mu dp by dx. Now it is y square by 2 plus c1y. Now this is the expression, reduced expression by finding out c2 equal to 0. So once we know that c2 is equal to 0, now I will rub this diagram. So you can see we want to find out c1 now. Unknown is what? C1. So second boundary condition is that upper plate is in motion. Upper plate is in motion, and what is the location of the upper plate? At y equal to t. If the distance between the two plates is t, we have signified this t as distance between the two plates. So if it is t, then at y equal to, this is y axis, so at y equal to t, u equal to v. U is how much? Velocity of the plate, which is v. We have defined the velocity of plate, which is predefined velocity, which is known already. So that is how much? V. So if u equal to v, y equal to t. So if I put this boundary condition at y equal to t, velocity becomes v. So if I put this boundary condition in this expression, it will become u becomes v, 1 upon mu dp by dx as it is. Y square is what now? T square by 2 plus c1 t. Y is what? T. Now what is our objective? Our objective is to find out c1. So I can separate out this c1. I will divide this entire expression by t. So it will become t, v by t. 1 t will be cancelled here, and this t will be cancelled because I am dividing the entire expression with t. Again I am repeating, I have divided entire expression with t. So it has become v by t. T square has become t, and ct has become c1. So now c1 can be separated. C1 is obtained now. This term will be minus. So it is minus 1 upon mu dp by dx. On the other side it becomes minus, and this v by t remains as it is plus v by t. So this is the value of c1. If I put this in this expression, I can get the final expression for u, and that becomes u. I'll write down this first entire term as it is. So that is what? 1 upon mu. I can take this 2 here, I couple this 2 here, so it becomes 2 mu dp by dx y square by t, y square by, sorry, now 2 is there itself, so now it is only y square. I have taken 2 here, so it has become y square, bracket complete, plus, now what is c1? We are putting this c1 here, so this is the expression for c1. Entire term will put here, so that will become, I can write down the minus directly, minus 1 upon, I can take this 2 here, so it will become 2 mu dp by dx. Just simplification is there, you can do it at your own also. T plus v by t, plus v by t. So if I observe this, and there is y already, so entire expression, this total is multiplied with y, so this term will be also multiplied with y plus plus Vy by t. So it becomes Vy by t. You can do it at your own and you can verify this is correct or not. Okay, now what I can observe that 1 upon 2 mu dp by dx is common. So I can take it common and I can simply manage that, rearrange the terms. So if I take this common, it will be, what I will do, I will take minus sign common. So if I take minus common, 1 upon 2 mu dp by dx. So now I have already taken minus sign common, so this will become positive ty, and this will, y square will become negative minus y square. This is the first term, and the remaining term is plus Vy by t, plus Vy by t. So this is the final expression which we have derived for velocity distribution along y. So you can recall the previous expression for the two fixed plates. The expression was only this. The Vy term was 0 because velocity in the previous case is 0. So this terms become 0. The remaining expression is as it is for the previous case also. So what is the difference? Only in the previous case formula we have just added this term because of this velocity. Now we will try to plot it along y. So how the expression, the diagram or distribution of velocity will appear if I plot it at any section. So if at this section, this is y equal to 0. So if I plot y equal to 0, this will become 0, 0, 0. Everything will become 0. So the velocity is 0. So as we will go away from this, velocity will go on increasing. And we can see that the u is the function of y square. U is what? The function of y square. So it is some kind of parabola, but it is not symmetric because there is another term, Vy by t. So maximum velocity will be obtained somewhere here. We can derive the expression for that also, that location of maximum velocity, but this is not the lecture where I can cover it. So the velocity vectors, if I plot, they are go increase, and now here on this surface at y equal to t, u will become v. If I put y equal to t here, so this will become t square minus t square, so these terms become 0. If I put y equal to t, so t cancelled, only v remains. So u equal to v. We have verified this boundary condition again. So at y equal to 2, u becomes v. So v has certain length, so this is vector v. So at upper plate velocity is not 0, at lower plate the velocity is 0, u is 0 here, but here u is equal to v. So that is why this is not symmetric. Again I repeat it, this is not symmetric. The center is different and the maximum velocity, this is the location of maximum velocity. You can derive the expression for that, but for UG level it is not expected. Okay, so we must know that what is expression for velocity distribution. Now the second part, remaining part, the last part of the QED flow, that we need to derive the expression for shear stress distribution also. That is very simple. So we can extend this expression with Newton's law of viscosity and we will get the shear stress. So we know the Newton's law of viscosity, that is what? Shear stress is equal to mu du by dy. So this is the Newton's law of viscosity. If I put this expression for velocity here, we know the u, so if I put it here and simplify that, you will get the shear stress distribution. So if I put that, mu will be as it is, dy will be as it is. Now I am putting the expression for u. This is the entire expression, that is 1 upon minus 1 upon 2 mu dp by dx. The remaining is only simplification. This is only the important part that you should understand, plus Vy upon t. Now this one more bracket is required here. Yes, I have given the bracket. Okay. So this complete entire term has to be taken derivative with respect to y. So mu will be as it is again. Now derivative of this term with respect to y, this is constant. This is independent of y. So this will be as it is, minus 1 upon 2 mu dp by dx. So now derivative of this is y, dy by dy 1. So it will become t. So it will become t minus derivative of 2y is y square is 2y t minus 2y plus derivative of y is 1, so it is v by t. So this is what the expression for shear stress. So if you multiply by mu, if you multiply the expression with this, if you take this mu inside, it will be mu will be cancelled, so you can simplify this as mu will be cancelled and this term will be multiplied with mu, so v mu upon t. Yes, now this is the expression for shear stress distribution. If you recall the previous case, the same expression is there up to this part, only this part is missing because in the previous case velocity is 0, so the remaining expression is same. So if I try to plot this, again it will not be symmetric because the lower plate will experience more shear stress because it is stationary. Upper plate is already in motion, so upper plate will experience less shear stress. So if I plot the shear stress along y-axis, maximum shear stress will be at y equal to 0. So if I put y equal to 0, this term will go on only. So this plus this will be your shear stress, and that is wall shear stress. Let us say this is wall shear stress or maximum shear stress. As you go away from the plate, it will go on decreasing, and this zero shear stress will shift towards the upper plate. And you can observe that there is no y square term, there is only y. So this is linear expression. So as shear stress is directly proportional to y only, not y square, so the expression is linear. And if you see at y equal to t, if you put the value at y equal to t, if you simplify, you will get certain value that will be of course less than this, and that is tw at the other side. I can denote this as 2 and this as 1, and this is also linear. So the zero shear stress is at this location, which is not t by 2. This is greater than t by 2. Okay, this is not at center, this is not symmetric because this is already in motion. This is q8 flow. U is 0 here, this is v. So shear stress distribution for q8 flow. This was the today's discussion. One more thing is that about this may not be required for UG level, but I can discuss it, that what is the difference between the previous case and this case. Very important difference. One more difference is there, that in the previous case the both plates were fixed, that is why the flow has to be obtained because of external pressure gradient. So if this is fixed, means at the both plates the pressure velocity is 0. So how the flow will take place? So flow will take place because of the external force, external pressure gradient. So that dp by dx, what is the dp by dx? Higher pressure minus lower pressure divided by, final pressure minus initial pressure upon distance. So this is P2 minus P1 upon L. So if I want to flow in this direction, then P1 must be higher. If P1 is higher, P2 minus P1 will be negative. So this will be negative. So if I want to maintain the flow, I will have to supply external pressure gradient, and that should be also negative. Then only flow will take place, otherwise no flow will be there. That is why in the expression of u there is minus 1 upon, you can recall that it is 2 mu dp by dx, okay, dy minus y square. So this is what the expression where this external pressure gradient is very important, which is now applied, because of that flow is taking place. If this is positive, the flow will take place in the opposite direction. You must understand this. This is the significance of dp by dx term, that is called as pressure gradient, and which is external. Because of that only flow is taking place. This is the speciality of the fixed plates. Now Q8 flow, very important. In case of Q8 flow, now what is happening? One plate is already in motion. So let us imagine that there is no external pressure gradient. This is u is 0, and v is already there. U is equal to v at this case. And let us imagine that there is no external pressure gradient. dp by dx is 0. So what is the expression for u? Expression for u is minus 1 upon 2 mu dp by dx into ty minus y square plus Vy by T plus Vy by T. Now if this term is 0, so entire term will become 0. We are not applying any energy to move this fluid. This is fixed. Whether the fluid will move or not, yes, it will move, because it is equal to, U is equal to, this term is remaining there. What is that? Vy by T. Vy by T. So what is the location of U? What is the value of U? It is Vy by T. At any y value, if you put y value, you will get the value of U at that location. And you can observe that it is linear. So for Couette flow, if the external pressure gradient is 0, then the velocity distribution is linear. At y equal to 0, U becomes 0. And at y equal to T, U becomes V. So this is V. And between them it is linearly distributed. So for Couette flow, if the external pressure gradient is 0, if dP by dx, means we are not applying any energy to move this fluid, the plate will try to move the fluid. You can physically imagine this also, that if these are the two plates and if both are fixed, then fluid will not move unless we apply the external pressure gradient. But now if the one plate is fixed and one is moving, then in that case, because of the motion of the upper plate, the fluid in between that will try to move, and that is automatically it will try to move because the plate is moving. So in the absence of external pressure gradient, in the absence of the external energy, fluid will still move, and that will move with this velocity distribution, linear velocity distribution, that is Vy by T, because U is linearly proportional to Y. So that was the Couette flow. Now whatever Couette flow we have discussed today, it is the simplest case of Couette flow. There are more complications are involved, and you can learn them for the heat transfer subject. For this particular UG course, undergraduate course, the simple case of the Couette flow is expected, where we have derived the expression for velocity distribution and we have derived the expression for shear stress distribution. We can reduce that to for the expressions with the external pressure gradient 0 also. So thank you very much. If you have any kind of questions, queries, you can comment me. I'll answer that. If you want any kind of problem, you can reach me also. I'll answer that definitely. Thank you very much.